And here we are with the topic, and today's topic is an absolute juicer. This is going to be this is not news to anyone. I think unless you've been living under a fucking rock, you will have heard the news that Halo is being remade and is coming to PlayStation 5 on the day of its release. Now, there's quite a bit we can go into from this, but first off, I want to get the initial thoughts out the way, and I'll give you some stats and, I'll give you some roundabout things for this remake, just for those that don't know, right? So this is the original Halo Combat Evolved. It is being remade on Unreal Engine 5. With that, it is bringing some enhancements, namely, obviously, graphics being enhanced, but they're changing certain aspects of the gameplay as well to go with kind of modern sensibilities. Meaning that you can sprint in this one where you couldn't in the original. The Warthog has been redesigned so it can accommodate 4 players in there. This has 4-player co-op throughout the entire thing, 2-player split screen. I'm hype as fuck with this. I'll get my own thoughts out of the way. I am super fucking excited. I've wanted Halo on a console, on a PlayStation console, for forever. And as soon as we saw the floodgates opened, when they announced the initial 4 titles that were coming, and we were like, there's no way they stop at 4. It was a matter of time. Then we've had Forza, we've had Gears. This is the final pillar to fall. It was inevitability. We've had rumors out the fucking wazoo for ages. We all said they were true, that this was going to be happening. This is the rare thing that we were totally right about. It has become a reality. I am buying this day fucking one. Day fucking one, I am getting this. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'll be happy. And I'm going to go on a price speculation with you boys in a moment. I'll put my own thoughts out there now. I reckon this is going to be a £40 to £50. This, so not full price, not 70, because there is no multiplayer included with this. It's just the campaign. I reckon this is a £40 to £50 release. So slightly budgeted, but not going down towards the 20 mark, like some people may say. Phil, I'm going to come to you first on this. Are you hyped that Halo's coming? And give me your full thoughts on it.
I honestly cannot believe that this is the day that we're reporting this news. It's crazy. I never thought we'd get Halo on PlayStation. It's the last standing bastion of Xbox, and it's coming to PlayStation. It's hard as a PlayStation loyalist not to smirk when I say that sentence. And I've spoken to quite a lot of people, and people tend to gloss over what this means coming to PlayStation. It's not just it's going multi-platform and we're getting on PC. No. Xbox's biggest IP, the one it's known for, is coming to PlayStation. Jesus Christ. I still can't even believe it. Still can't believe it. But I am the same as you, Davey. Absolute hype to be able to play this game. But I feel a bit, not hard done by, but just a bit gutted for the Halo guys, that it's going to come to PlayStation and it's not going to be as big as maybe it was when it came to Xbox, because we're missing out on the multiplayer. Now, I kind of understand why they've avoided that hot potato because of Concord, right? Bring in kind of like a multiplayer game to PlayStation currently. You don't want to touch that. I don't think so. And I don't think Halo's the one to come in and solve that. I think you want to withdraw it and hold it off a little bit until later that kind of bed is settled and people are more willing to play those sort of multiplayer games without it being a battle royale on PlayStation. So I totally get that. But to come out and say, this is our biggest title, it's Halo, and it's going to be a reduced game, it's kind of a punch in the face, isn't it?
Do you think it that way, do you? See,
a little bit. I get it from PlayStation, where they're like, we're not going to sell it as a £70 game because it's Xbox's biggest game. We're going to give it you for 40 quid.
I reckon, I'm just thinking about like and this isn't confirmed by any stretch of the imagination.
Sure,
This is my speculation here on the price, but I imagine that, you know, Gears was a budgeted title, but granted that was just a remaster, right? It's a full remake, so I think they can charge more for it in that aspect. But it doesn't have the full multiplayer suite that they added in with Master Chief Collection. And my rationale for that is because I think it makes perfect sense to save the multiplayer kind of component that everyone will be raving for, right? And to bring that in with either a port of Halo Infinite over, which is a live service game that has a multiplayer component, or you get a couple of years down the line and we're talking Halo 7. And that's then when that has the full multiplayer suite. I think this is something to be able to test the water. It's a lot easier to be able to do it for a remake. I think even if we take it to a remake for a classic game that was well known for its multiplayer, in like COD 4, that didn't have the multiplayer suite like with that. So it was just a campaign for COD Modern Warfare 2. It was just the campaign, right? So I think there's precedent for that. I don't think it's anything in as much as that they're scared to put it over, because I think it would do very, very well. Like Gears multiplayer is doing very, very well. And that's a really old game. Halo would do fucking super well, but it's a massive time investment if you're doing that for a UE5 full remake. It's a huge time investment, let alone with all the extra weapons they've added in, the new balancing, all that. It's a lot of work when they can focus that into the main development of the next Halo title, which then will come across multiplayer to all of them with a multiplayer suite. But that's my take on it anyway. But Spence, what's your initial thoughts on kind of Halo coming across to PS5, the hype, price, that kind of thing?
I fully support both you guys being hyped for this. And I think a lot of people should be hyped for this. It's an exciting time. It's also a devastating time for Xbox, obviously, but it's an exciting time for PlayStation. I think us getting Halo is very much the final nail in the coffin. And that is, well, it's hard to even argue that. This is the Xbox franchise. No multiplayer is quite big. I would not pay more than... I don't think I'd pay more than 20 quid.
More than 20? It's a fucking classic campaign.
Yeah, that I could have played 20 years ago. I'm all right. I would rather, if I'm only playing the campaign, I'd rather go back and play the OG than play a new version of it, I think. But especially if there's no multiplayer, I'm okay. I'd rather go back for the story. It's like Phil, how you always want to play a game story on its original hardware, so you can get the intended, kind of thing. If I was going to play Combat Evolved now, just the campaign, no multiplayer, I'd play it on the original. I'm not going to fork out 40, 50 pound to play it with a new lick of paint. I'd rather you could get an Xbox 360 at CEX or Marketplace for about a tenner, probably with Combat Evolved, and it'd be nothing. I'd much rather do it that way.
It isn't just a lick of paint, though. That's not what they're proposing.
Oh, you could sprint.
They're changing quite a lot with this game. Now, yeah, 100% you'd want to play on the original hardware, the original game. But if you're a fan and you've played it on that hardware, and now you've got a PlayStation, it's the time to play it again. How many of us haven't played this game?
I haven't played this game, to be fair.
Have you not?
Not number one.
Oh, dude, you should. It's great. It's
Well,
fantastic. Yeah, go back and
Here
play
we
that.
go.
Buy
Go
it
back
for
and play.
Yeah, go back
Yeah.
and play it, and then get hyped for the new one. The beautiful thing about it is, Spence, you won't have to pay for it, because I'll be
No, I
getting
know.
this.
Yeah, no, of course. I've played LAN multiplayer of it. I've not played the campaign or multiplayer. When I went to college, I've told this story on the show before, I think. When I went to college,
When you shit in the corridor?
I smeared
That
it
was
on
in
the walls.
school. Thank you.
Oh, school.
That was in
That was
school.
school. Sorry, yeah, this is a different time. Different
Got
time.
away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, they let me in a new place. When in college, I did IT when I was 18 in college, and we on one of the computers, I was just nosing around the local files on the computer because I just always did. I don't know why, just to see if people had saved random shit. There was a copy of Halo Combat Evolved on one of the PCs, and I put it on a USB, spread it around the computers, and we had a big LAN sesh, and it was
Nice.
Sick.
immense. But that's my only experience with Combat Evolved. That is it. And I am not. Maybe you guys, because you know how good it is, are willing to pay that much. I don't know how good it is. I'm sure it is great. For a game that's been out 20 years, and for it to be not cut in half, I suppose, because the original didn't
No.
really have multiplayer, did it?
It was like there was multiplayer and you could LAN it up, right? But it wasn't online.
It was local, yeah.
Yeah, it was local, and it wasn't, to me anyway. It was always fun, but for me, the big draw was the campaign in the original one, and just playing it through all the different difficulty options and things like that, going for legendary and stuff like that. So this is appealing to me without the multiplayer, just because I appreciate the amount of effort that they've put in. Like, it looks fucking gorgeous. And when they're talking about, they've added in loads of different weapons from the rest of the series, different mechanics from the rest of the series, I'm happy to see what they've done and give it the benefit of the doubt. And as you said quite rightly, the original's there. I played the original to death so many times through with different people that I just want to have that experience and to know that I can play it with like you two lads and anybody else who wants to join. It would be so fucking fun.
It'll be fun. And game share as well. You have to share play as well. That will, even then, that works. You can split screen that way. It'll be fine. I'm, as much as I agree with you, I'm not willing to see what they've done at a price point higher than, I think, maybe £25. I just wouldn't be happy. Not for a game with just campaign that's not... I don't know. How long's the campaign in Combat Evolved?
About 8 hours?
I suppose I've paid more for less.
I'll have a look now. I'll have a look. I reckon it's about 8 hours, but
I'd reckon it's about 8 hours. But I agree with you very much in that there's a reason they haven't done multiplayer for this, and that's to save it for something bigger. I don't like what you said with Halo 7 or whatever. I'd much rather have a version of Halo 3 or Halo.
Well,
Reach.
There's rumors that have come out. I don't believe them for a second at this stage because there's no way they're working on them at this point. There's rumors that apparently they're remaking 2 and 3 and they won't have multiplayer either, and that would be a bigger deal. That would be a much bigger deal.
If 3 didn't have multiplayer,
yeah, that'd be a massive deal. I don't believe those rumors at all. Like this game just got announced. They're still working on it. There's no way they're starting work on 2 and 3. Like, no chance. Like I can see maybe it might be going into like pre-production, but what? There's no chance. There's no way those plans can change. I've looked it up. 9 to 11 hours on normal difficulty.
Oh, quite good. Yeah, quite good.
Yeah.
To be fair, I still wouldn't be that happy at paying that. I don't know, because there's a lot of changes. Maybe you might have me. You might have me by the balls.
It's not like a 4-hour throwaway thing. It was a huge deal, and especially like this is the game that everyone, when the Xbox first came out, this was it. Like, I remember just playing this in like going to like Curry's or whatever, and there'd be an Xbox there and it would have Combat Evolved, and I'd be like, holy
Curry's.
Fuck, this is sick. And then it was just, I never owned an Xbox, so it was always just going around to like, Dan Thompson's house or Andrew Phillips' house or Brett Sully's house and just playing Halo and just fucking loving it and being like, Jesus Christ, I should buy an Xbox, but I don't need to because I could just play yours.
Yeah. Say, mate, go to bed, I'm busy.
Yeah, we're playing Halo, bro. But fair enough. That gets some initial hype out of the way. I do want to move this over into not so much a gloat, because that's not what I want to do. But I want to just stress to the audience, this is your first time being here. We have been pro Xbox for forever on this show, in terms of wishing them the best, hoping they turn it around. hoping that they can actually be the competition that Sony needs to keep them in check. That's something that we've said so many times on this podcast. It goes beyond fucking even saying, right? Like, anyone who listens to us regularly, you'll know that. For people who listen to like the odd YouTube short where we're taking the piss out of Flight Sim or whatever, they think we're like, we hate Xbox.
Yeah, there've been a few snarky comments here and there.
Of course, but we all say it in jest, right? The thing is, like, all we want is for them to do well. But unfortunately, and I think we can take some pride in this, we called this years ago that this was going to happen. Like, years ago. Like, when our podcast first started, we were calling Xbox was going down the fucking drain. And the reason for that is what I want to unpick with you boys. We don't have to go too deep, but I do want to know where you think the death blow began with Xbox and what was the like kind of Achilles heel here. I've got my own thoughts, but I'll save them. Phil, I'm going to come to you first on this. What do you think was the thing? It's a big thing to ask.
It's a big thing to ask. Where the hell do you start with this? There's about 8 different things that I can reel off. So you had declining hardware sales. You had studio closures and layoffs. You had game development release issues. You had shifting exclusivity strategies. You've had that recent price increase. And the loss of the clear identity of Xbox. They just haven't had a leader over there. It's just wild. There is so many aspects to Xbox that from the outside looking inward to Xbox, you're just like, what are you guys doing? You know, there's enough on PlayStation that we grumble about. And hell, we're on episode 123, and every episode will have a grumble about something that's going on in PlayStation. But once you look at Xbox, my God, there's some issues. There is so much nonsense going on there, and it's hard not to look at it and kind of point and go, you know, as a PlayStation fan. It really is. It's really difficult not to. And I'm holding it back. I'm being very, very professional.
You are. you are being professional. You are, and you've reeled off a quite an exhaustive list there. Spence, what are your thoughts? Where did you see it going wrong?
Oh, mate, the killing blow was the launch of the Xbox One X. And I fully believe that, and I've always thought it's that. They launched it not as a games console, but as an entertainment system, where this is your new Skybox. You can use this for everything. You can do Netflix. Disney Plus wasn't even out then, but I'm sure you can get it now. You can order a pizza off of it. You can do whatever you want except play exclusives, because we don't really have many. That is the thing. They just switched to media rather than gaming with the Xbox One. And I've pulled up a list just now, by the way, of Xbox One exclusives. And it says Xbox One console experiences, definitive console experiences. One of them is Dance Central Spotlight.
Jesus Lord.
Brilliant. There's about 12 games here. And, you know, none of them are bloody blowing me away. I'm not even going to list them because it's not worth it. It's just the one.
We had some stinkers too, Spence. So
we've had stinkers.
It's not all rosy over here, but they've had a lot of stinkers.
We've had stinkers, but through and through, we've been games first. And that's what we've always been. Whereas Xbox have tried to change the way it works. They've tried to entertainment console, streaming platform. Now we're a computer. They've just kept trying to change what works. And that's where they've fallen short.
It's the loss of identity, which I mentioned.
Loss of identity.
It's like, what is an Xbox? Well, everything's an Xbox. So
That's so dumb.
I just don't get it,
everything's
right?
an Xbox.
So
Everything's an
fucking dumb.
Xbox these days. It just is. I don't know.
My PS5's an Xbox. It's fucking stupid. For me, I think but you both bring up some really salient points. And the Xbox One was an absolute travesty, right? That launch and that whole console generation cannot be understated how much damage that did. I don't think that's the thing that fucking ruined it for him, though, if I'm honest, right? Like, every console maker has a stumble, right? Like a big stumble. For PlayStation, it was the PS3, right? PS3 was a major stumble. They managed to reclaim it at the end and beat Xbox 360 in total sales, but it was rough. And it was rough being in it. You had... I didn't buy as much as I love PlayStation. I didn't buy a PS3 until Uncharted came out. A couple of years into the generation, I had a Wii. And that was what I bought. Because, fuck buying a PlayStation. It was mega expensive. The games weren't great. Where was the point in doing it? But as soon as Uncharted came out, it seemed to then they found their stride. And apart from the network outage, which was really bad, the generation improved and the first party performance was great and they kind of righted the ship, right? Nintendo, they have had major fuck ups. The GameCube barely sold. The Wii U fucking tanked.
Yeah.
But they were always supported by either having great handheld hardware, which kind of held the company afloat. And then they did the smartest decision ever and melded the two sides of the company into one for the Switch, which was just the fucking smartest decision ever. And they're still finding success now in the Switch too. For me, Xbox, with the stumbles from the one, they could have righted this generation. And I think they've had a great first-party output. They've been doing a lot of things right. The issue for me, and the reason why I think their hardware was doomed and their whole ecosystem was doomed, lies at the feet of Game Pass.
I mean, you say this.
This has been the worst mistake they ever could have made. And they gambled big on it. And people will argue it's pro-consumer. It is. But training your consumers to not buy your games and to wait and get them day and date was the dumbest fucking decision ever. And at the time, you can look at it and you could say from their eyes, they think, right, we're going to have exponential growth on this platform and it's going to go well. But because it didn't, because people like owning their stuff, it fucked them. Because the people that were still loyal would not buy games, because what's the purpose of buying them? So they lose out on the revenue, which then they think, right, well, we got to grow Xbox Game Pass. We have to at this point. We've sunk so much into it. Let's get some more value into it to be able to grow stuff. So they start on the acquisitions to be able to add more and more value into it. And then what happens is they bring in these companies, they bring in Bethesda. Then all of a sudden they're like, shit, we're no one's buying these. Let's get Activision. They get Activision. They then realize at that point, oh my God, we can't do the smart thing here.
So, oh my God, we've bought these people to give their games away for free.
Yes. Oh, fuck. Nobody's buying our stuff. So we have to still continue with pumping out the games that were going to the other consoles. Instead of, if they had, right, there's a version of reality somewhere out there in the multiverse where Xbox had Game Pass where they release things into Game Pass at a random time, like PlayStation Extra does. There's a version of that somewhere, and people are buying the first-party output, and they're buying games on their hardware that are new, and that they're enjoying a service at a discounted price, which then they can stream their content, and they can stream their games, and maybe they don't have to pay for online, anything like that to make it so it's a nice value add. And they're doing all right. And what they could have done then, if they were doing that, is they could have been smart and they could have been like, anyone we buy, fuck PlayStation. We are putting it just on us and we are not having it on, we'll release it on PC too, sure, but they got to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same Game Pass model as like PlayStation Extra and Essential and that kind of thing. If they had done that and they had just been able to have the income coming in to say, we're going to take the hit and not release Doom and not release Elder Scrolls and not release all these onto PlayStation. We're going to keep them here. Things would have turned around a lot more. But because they had them free to their audience, which then weren't giving them any revenue, they had to sell them to the other side, which meant there was no reason for us to buy into the ecosystem. To me, it's just been a complete and utter fucking death spiral. The moment they start stopping, essentially, people buying in stuff on their own hardware, you need to, at that point, go out and somewhere else because you need the fucking money to come in. from somewhere, and it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy of doom. To me, like I honestly think, like, as much as people love Game Pass, and I get it, for a consumer, it's a great proposition. For a company, it's a fucking massive roll of the dice, and it never paid off. Even when COD was in there, it didn't spike them that much. Like, I remember saying when they were putting COD in, I was like, I remember seeing this back in like November or whatever on the last COD. I was like, this will be the test for Game Pass. If this doesn't move the needle, they're fucked. And it didn't. And here we are, you know, about a year later, and it's over. It's just so fucking sad, man. It's so sad. And it feels like as if anybody with half a brain could have fucking steered that shit better than they did. And I really fear now for this next generation, because whatever they do with this like PC cross Xbox hybrid thing, having other stores on your service that you don't get any revenue from is a fucking mistake. Having Steam on there so that somebody can buy the box and then never use the Xbox side and just Steam are making all the money, how is that going to get them revenue? I don't understand. It's like another fuck up that I can't see a solution for them ever winning it, or even being remotely in the conversation in the next generation. I just cannot see a reality that's the case.
Well, what they do, Davey, it's obvious, isn't it? They charge 3 times as much for the hardware. Because that's what they're doing with the ROG Ally X or whatever they call it, right? Steam Deck, 300 quid. This one, £1,000. So probably they're making some money there, aren't they?
Well, yeah, you'd hope so. But I mean, like,
who's buying it?
We all know, like,
sold out, mate. Sold out. You can't buy them anywhere.
Yeah, there's probably 20 of them made. That's why.
Yeah, but also scalpers, man. They ain't selling those.
It's one of those things that, like, PlayStation doesn't make its money from the console sales. It makes them from, and this is why the PS5 is the most profitable generation they've ever had, they make it from game sales and services, right?
DLC, isn't it? We saw that graphic.
From the people being in the ecosystem, buying shit, and then just getting 30%, raking it in on anything that gets sold. All the costs of PlayStation Plus, just fucking raking that shit in. Like, that's where they're making their money. It's not on the box. They make fucking pennies on the fucking console itself. It's on everything else that gets sold through that ecosystem. People might get £1,000 they pay for their PC cross hybrid. It's probably costing them a fucking shitload to make. If it's a high-end premium device that they're talking about, it's going to cost them quite a pretty penny. And then they won't get anything off the revenue for the game sales because everyone will buy it through Steam because they're not a fucking idiot.
Yeah, because then they get it, play it on their PC too.
Yes. So, like, well, I honestly, the reason why this bothers me so much is because I can see a reality where Sony just go, but fuck anti-consumer.
No,
because they're not being in check, and that's what worries me about it.
No, yeah, it is frightening for the future of us, because of Xbox's downfalls. Couldn't agree with you more. Xbox has this tendency to think of a solution and not think of the consequences of their solution. Because it benefits them one way, it always does. There's always a benefit to it. But then there's 7 consequences every single time with everything they've done. And I mean, I just can't. I have to echo exactly what you say. Anyone with half a brain could have steered Xbox out of this. And now it's at the point where Game Pass has been out for so long. What are they even supposed to do other than terminate Game Pass and say, oh, our next system, you have to buy the games? They're going to jump to PlayStation because they're going to think, I've had all these games for free the last 10 years, the last generation, and now you're telling me all those games I've been playing I don't own because I've been on Game Pass, which is the truth. No one on Xbox owns any of their games. They're gone.
This is the thing, yeah. If you don't have a digital library behind you, there's no reason to stay in that ecosystem, right?
None at all. And PlayStation has done the thing of every month you get 3 games added to your library, basically for free, as your membership, and then you get the catalog and everything else as a bonus. Xbox has done the opposite and said the whole time you're playing, these are ours. Joke's on you. Game Pass shuts down, which it will inevitably. It's not an infinite system. One day it will, even if it's like however many years in the future. You have nothing, literally nothing.
But all digital services are like that, though, Spence.
Yeah, they are.
Netflix
of course.
disappears, you lose all your movies. Steam disappears, you lose all your PC games, right? They're all digital. But that brings us probably onto a different argument, doesn't it, about physical to digital. But I completely get what you're saying. But Davey, I just looked up that graphic that I was referring to in terms of where Sony really makes its money. And you're right, it's with the add-on content with everything, right? It's all the digital sales. That equated to 29% of the revenue Sony drove last year, which is an incredible amount if you think about the split. But they do mention that the hardware actually made up 24% of that split. So they actually do make a fair bit on their hardware. So maybe to fight the Xbox side a little bit, they could be earning some money off selling enough of these Ally X ROG Allies
But that
at £1,000 a go.
But that is just revenue, isn't it?
Revenue.
That's not profit.
No, revenue. Yes,
Yeah.
it obviously costs for the hardware, doesn't it? So there's that to add into if you want the net figure.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I wish them all the best, but at this point, it's fucking done, innit? Like, last year we could at least be a little bit rosy and be, well, maybe COD will spike it and they'll gain some success, and then blah blah blah, and then, but at this point, it's done. Even Potato Chief, the most fervent Xbox fan I know, has lost hope. Right? Like, when that happens, it's GG's.
Do you know what it truly is? X marks the box,
mate. It is, and it's so fucking sad. I just feel like I did when Sega bowed out.
It is that, yeah.
It is. I remember that so well, and I remember seeing Sonic on GameCube and being like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what the hell is this?" It feels like I'm in a different dimension, and here we are, 20 years later, and it's happening again. And it's just they're going out with a whimper, and it's just so sad. At least Sega went out with a bang. The Dreamcast fucking slapped tits, and it was great, and it was just it just was what it was, right?
It's going to feel foreign, though, isn't it? Playing Halo on a PlayStation. Because I remember those days when I first had a Sonic game on a Nintendo. It's just weird, right? It just didn't feel
sacrilegious, isn't it?
So maybe that'll have some effect on the sales, because there's going to be lots of tribalistic players out there, both on the Xbox side and on the PlayStation side, that just will not buy Halo on PlayStation. So that's going to affect the sales. And I think it did a little bit to Sega, but now you see Sonic on Nintendo, you're just like, yeah, it's Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games. That's normal.
Yeah. Literally what I was about to say. I was about to say, yeah, Sonic being on Nintendo was crazy. Sonic and Mario are best mates now. They are the best mates you've ever seen. One day we're going to see John Master Chief with his arm around Joel's shoulder, and we'll be like, yeah. Joel and
what
Master
universe
Chief
are they
Olympic
friends?
Games.
But sure, yeah, it could happen, couldn't it?
They could be the best mates, yes, on it. Who knows? But that's the equivalent, in it, of Mario and Sonic. I don't know how else to word it.
Probably Kratos rather than Joel, but yeah,
Kratos. Yeah, Kratos. Yeah, right. Last for
future Kratos when he gets armor.
This guy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But that's back then, Sonic on Nintendo was insane. Whereas now, you expect it.
Yeah.
You just do. So, give it 10 years.
Those memories will quickly fade, though, because there's lots of, younger players out there, and some that do listen to us, that would have never seen Sonic on a Sega.
God, that's
Which is weird, right? There's going to be
weird.
people younger than you, Spence, that will experience that. And now there's going to be people that would have never experienced Halo on an Xbox. They're just going to think it's another PlayStation title.
Oh, they just play Fortnite anyway.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But no, you
So
are.
they already know Master Chief, don't they? Because he's been in Halo.
They do, yeah.
Been in Fortnite, sorry.
It's mental, mate. It's a mental time. I mean, close this out. I hope, as I always do, I wish Xbox all the best, right? And I hope that, we get to 2027, whenever it is, and we get the launch of this new hybrid console, and it sells gangbusters, right? And it reinvents the brand and moves the needle. I got to be realistic. I can't see it. I can't see it. I can't see a reality where PlayStation are either going to worry about doing anything they want to do because they've got us all by the balls. Because what are we going to do? Go to a Switch 2? No. Not for like high-end games. I mean, granted, PC gaming is probably the competitor that they'd have to really kind of think, right, okay, we can't go too crazy because, Steam is there. But fuck me, man. It's a dark day for console gaming. It's a dark fucking time. Wish them all the best. And audience, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. What do you think was the thing that caused Xbox's downfall? We've given several very different answers on this, all very apt. I'd love to know your thoughts. Write into the email ps4trust@gmail.com. Hit us up on any of the socials, and I'll try my best to not answer you back on the socials, and I will include them on the next episode. But with that brings episode 123 to a close. It's been an absolute pleasure to podcast with yourselves, as it always is. Audience, if you've enjoyed this conversation, there's a couple of ways to let us know. The first, as I mentioned, is to hit us up on the socials. But the one that I really want you to do is to consider putting a like, putting a follow, a like, a rating on any of your podcast services of choice. We are pushing the Spotify as the big one if you're an audio podcast listener. So if you can go on there, put a rating on. We are holding at a 4.9 rating at the moment after we had our one really bad review, which was hilariously fun when we just used the whole next episode to take the absolute piss out of that guy a while ago. So we're holding at the 4.9.
Like swearing, did he?
He really didn't.
Didn't.
I don't think you probably expect to come in and hear a load of crass language about probably vaginas about 30 seconds into the podcast, but it is what it is. That's the show you get. Anywho, if you've been enjoying it, please put a rating on. It really, really does help the show. If you're watching on YouTube, then hello. We're on drive for 300. We're at 290 as of the day of recording. So if you can go on and put a like on the video, subscribe, and put a comment to anything that we've spoken about. And Phil does look after the comments. So if you are snarky in there, Phil will be very snarky back, is what he does. It's his brand online.
Loves it.
He loves it.
That's why I wake up in the morning.
He absolutely, he just starts war on there. So go on there, be snarky if you want. It's Phil that's going to be responding to you. So he doesn't represent the full podcast brand. But
no, he does. He does. He speaks to me too.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Well, with that brings us to a close. Thank you ever so much for all for staying with us for this amount of time. I've been Davey.
I've been Phil.
And I've been Spencer.
Take care, guys.
Peace.